Welcome back, everybody. This is Faye.
And I'm Delacqua.
And it's Terminal 234.
Ooh, yeah.
We're back again for another episode, this time twice as strong. We have two guests with us. That's
we do.
Kind of unusual for us. We usually just have one. But this topic that we have for today felt like a two guest episode was necessary. So how about our guests introduce themselves?
Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Miriam Ogusoya.
Oh wow, you gave us last name too.
You got me doing that. Middle name. I'm gonna tell us everything
No.
else. Like, what do you like? What do you do for fun?
Long walks on the beach.
All right, your turn.
Hi, I'm Habib Sule GQ. Just put that in there.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
That's his
So
Instagram
if you're
handle.
looking for him on socials. There you go. Right. So, before we get to our main topic at hand, let's go ahead and just get through quick hits really quick. We only have two today, and they're pretty quick and easy. So let's go ahead and get into them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys all know or are aware of what's going on in Nigeria, right?
Mm-hmm.
And SARS and SWAT and all the different variations of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what everybody's been on. So everything's kind of honestly been on a standstill trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
People are protesting here in Nigeria, all over the world. I know there's a protest today in DC as well. They had one last week or recorded.
Yeah.
They have another one today. So it's taking hold, taking shape. A lot of celebrities around the world have, voiced their support of the protest. We're not going to go all the way into it because we talked about it before, basically, but it's just trying to end police brutality in Nigeria, basically.
Yeah, and I think even beyond that, it's become a means of just putting a spotlight on a lot of things going on in Nigeria outside of just police brutality. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of content online about it just being a means to end whatever kind of inadequacies and stuff that are going on in Nigeria and that have been going on for eons. But yeah, like he said, we already talked about this last week, so you can tune into that to get an overarching idea of where we stand and how we feel about it. But I mean, the support is still here. We're always looking for things to get better in Nigeria. And I know that right now, the most recent iteration of the protests there's non-negotiables that have been put on the table and that they want to get taken care of. So do you want to give us a little bit of...
Yeah, so basically the protesters have, organized and have 5 main demands, which is good because you can't just be protesting without actual points of action. Mm-hmm. So they have 5 things they're demanding. I'll read it off here. Number 1, the release of arrested protesters. So they have been arresting protesters. Some of them have been released, not all of them. So they're still, fighting for that. Justice and compensation for families of victims. That's a huge problem, right? We deal with that here as well. Mm-hmm. Someone gets killed. There's no compensation. There's no acknowledgement. Of course, you can't go backwards to fix what already happened, but you can at least acknowledge that something happened. A young person was killed for no reason. We should be able to say that out loud. Number 3, there's been no action on that. Number 3, independent body to oversee prosecution of officers within 10 days, which to me sounds fair enough. If you shoot someone, we should be able to deal with you that quickly. If you decided in a split second you're going to shoot someone for no reason, let's deal with it quickly. At least let's start moving. Because a lot of times these police officers disappear off the face of the earth. We don't know where they are. We don't know where they go, but they disappear and they're good. Number 4, psychological evaluation of disbanded officers before redeployment. I mean, that's kind of huge, right? We talk about mental health all the time. Yeah. It's don't just move them to another unit. Let's make sure they can actually do this work. Mm-hmm. There's been some action on that front. And then number 5, increase of police salaries, which, talking about Nigeria, that's huge. Because I think they recently released the pay chart, a pay scale for them. A lot of these guys don't make any kind of money, especially people that are on the streets. Yeah. They're making less than a couple $100 a month. So it's not a surprise that they're using this job to their advantage to make some kind of money, which, I mean, not to be it's okay that they're extorting money, but people would be okay with that if they weren't killing people on top of it. You know what I mean? It's there's a level of... people
would be okay with
not
extortion,
okay, but there's a level it's Nigeria, right? There's a level of, okay, it's Nigeria. That's just how things happen. Grease my palm, I grease your elbow, this and, everybody greasing everybody. But don't shoot me on top of the grease.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And honestly, I do kind of want to hear from Miriam and Habib to wrap up this topic since, like I said, we've already talked about it. But before I let them take the stage, take the mic, if you will, I do want to say I think going off of the last point you just mentioned, it's always about getting to the root of the issue as opposed to just putting a band-aid to what has come from certain issues. So yeah, if you start paying people a livable wage, I'm sure you'll see atrocities like police brutality go down substantially. So definitely support those 5 non-negotiables, and especially any that go at the root of the issue at hand. So Miriam, do you have any points on NSARS?
I mean, a lot of it, just from talking to my parents, it seems it's so much more complicated than pointing at just one person and saying you guys are all responsible for this one thing. It's a deeper problem, like you guys touched on. It's dealing with the mental health. Like my dad was talking about how, like, are these guys even trained? Like, you look at the way that you train the people that you're put on the streets. So it's mental health, it's training, it's livable wage, and then it's also like much more just like this is a symptom of a larger problem. So it's like almost a catalyst for something bigger that's going to come. If this can get resolved, then it can propel Nigeria into solving a lot more other issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. And one other thing is that, it's obviously not one of the demands, but another factor that goes into this whole protest and everything is just the fact that there's a lot of unemployment in Nigeria, specifically for youth. So these same youth that you don't want to commit crimes, you don't have anything for them to do. So it's like they're going to turn towards crimes more. And like right now, these people don't have any jobs to go to. Like, not to say that's why they're doing it, but to say like there is complete unrest and unhappiness beyond just, like you were saying, beyond just this one thing. It's a really large issue, and this is just like one thing that they're going with. But it's not going to stop here. Like, it's going to keep going, hopefully.
Yeah. Habib, do you have any points you want
to bring? Have you dealt with police? Have you had any encounters with police in Nigeria? I'm sure they'll stop you. Habib, you're suited.
Especially
no, it's not. But they say who, but it's like a normal thing. Like, if you're a young guy in Nigeria, they're going to stop you. Like, it's normal. If you've not been stopped, it's because they haven't seen you.
I think, like she said, the whole police problem is a lot of issues combined in one. What I told Dwayne the other day was I believe the problem that Nigeria have is religion and respect. We put respect into every single thing. So when the police pulls you over, even if the police is wrong, if you say, "Oh, you're not supposed to pull me over, you asked for my paper, and I gave you my paper," while you questioning that police alone increases anger. And why does it increase anger? It's like, "Oh, I'm older than you. Who the heck are you telling me?" Even he's right, he's wrong, but because you are questioning him, and by hate, it's just that respect thing. That's like, "Oh no, I'm just gonna shoot you down," or something like that. That's a problem. And the final problem is another one is job, like what's it called? Payment. Their salary is terrible. If you're being paid a terrible salary, why don't people buy police over here? Why when police pull you over, you don't say, "Oh, take $20," because you know they're well paid or they're satisfied with what they're living at. Over there, they're not satisfied. So that's why when they pull you over, you expect them to ask you for something, because what they're making from their job is not even enough. When they pull you over, they basically get that money they're pulling over in Nigeria. The money they get in is like basically a subsidy for themselves.
It's like tips for waiters here.
Exactly. When you view it that way, you understand why they do what they do, because it's basically it's like tips for waiter.
Yeah, and on that point too, I saw a video recently too, like amongst all the videos that people have been, sharing, where a police officer in Nigeria pulled someone over, and he was like, of course they checked the phone. That's always the first thing. I was like, "Oh, you have this kind of phone. I've been working for 20 years. I can't afford this kind of phone." And it's like, it's that level of hate that leads them to, but it's like, they don't hate the person. They hate their circumstances. Yeah. So a lot of it is figuring out how to help them be in more livable circumstances.
No, but I was just thinking, like, but in order for people to pay police officers more, somebody has to admit the fact that, like, break down, where's your money going? And I don't know if the Nigerian government is ready to actually have that conversation. I see what you're saying. Where's your money actually going?
Because there is money that should be going to these people, but somehow
not making it to them. Like, you have a budget. What's happening?
I remember when I went to Nigeria, not to even hold this topic that long. I remember when I went to Nigeria, I think it was Dolapo's dad was like, "Oh, they should have a database." But you can't have a database, because when you have a database, you can check every single where the money is going. No one will have a database. If you have a database, and that's the problem. You can check. You can find out how much you're spending when you have the database.
Too true.
So you can't.
Too true.
People are making money off people not having database in Nigeria, and so you can't. That's the problem. Until they are willing to, until Nigerians are willing to be selfish for themselves, and let all of us say, "You know what? I'm going to give." The problem is you see someone that live in America, go back to Nigeria, expecting him to do the same thing they do in America and make Nigeria a better place. He's going to change, take that Nigerian mentality and turn to someone totally different. So I don't think it's even the government. I think it's the people themselves. We follow laws in America, but as soon as we get to Nigeria airport, that law is thrown away. Why? Why?
No, I don't hate that point.
Why?
I was going to say Nigeria has an accountability problem on every level, honestly, on a governmental level and then also an individual level. And that's something that definitely needs to change. And some of those points Dolapo read out even spoke to that. Like, you need to hold people accountable for their actions and then be able to track them on it. And make sure that those changes that are supposed to be taking place to fix some of these issues actually do take place. So this is definitely a topic that will most likely get revisited. It's not ending anytime soon as far as we can tell. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted. But what's our next quick hit?
So I mean the next thing is kind of similar in a way, but coming to this side of the ocean. Our boy Ice Cube, people online are trying to attack him. They're trying to cancel the man because the man wants to make a difference. So it's a lot been going on with him. For people that aren't aware, like me, I was unaware until like earlier today. But basically Ice Cube has a plan or program looking out for young Black Americans. Let's call it that. It's called Contract with Black America is what he's termed his plan. And just like a bunch of different initiatives that he would like seen like undertaken, and he's tried to work with both sides of our government, or the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and basically he's been catching a lot of flack for working with Trump, basically for being associated with anything Republican. Trump, he's getting a lot of flack for it. And to Ice Cube's point is, I'm just trying to do something for young Black Americans. I am not Republican. Like, I'm not supporting the party. I'm just working with who has the power and who's willing to work with me. So I'll open up for Faye, because Faye, I know Faye has a...
No, I was just honestly just going to add on to what you have just said, in the sense that he's independent by nature. He says he has no leanings towards one party over the other. He's just going to talk to whoever is in power in order to make sure his Black people prosper. And from his point of view, both sides approached him. He didn't go looking for Trump's support. He was approached by both sides. One side, being the Democratic side, said, you know what, let's let the election settle, and then after that we'll reconvene. And then Trump's side, the Republican side, was like, oh no, let's do this now. Let's talk about it now. Let's work on it now. And to him, that was enough for him to, kind of make that connection. And from a lot of people's point of views, it's like, but you know who this man is, though. Like, you know who Trump is. You know what his administration has done or said or not done or not said, and you're still aligning yourself with him. So that's where the flack is coming from. And I don't like that Ice Cube is feigning ignorance as to why people are upset. Like, bruh, I understand that you think that you're making an independent stance, but anything you do in life is about perspective. It's about who you're aligning yourself with and what that looks like. And unfortunately, the person you're aligning yourself with has shown himself to be a racist. So I don't know. I don't know that you can completely alleviate yourself from any issues.
Yeah, you're about to fight. Okay.
Yeah, I already knew Dolapo and I would disagree.
Oh, you have to know, because I'm always the same way. But Habib, what do you think? Because Habib, I know that
Oh yeah,
I know your opinions are strong on this.
I'm very, very strong. This is the deal. If it's just a regular Republican Party that did that, I wouldn't oppose that. That's good. But we know what Trump is doing. Trump has been in the White House for how many years? 4 years. Why didn't he do anything for Black people in those 4 years? Why is it now during the election he decides to want to have a conversation with Ice Cube? He's just trying to downplay the Black vote. Every single thing Trump doesn't care about the Black vote. What he's trying to do is reduce the number of Black people that vote for him. If he can get those Black people that vote for Joe Biden turned down, he's going to win the election. So every single thing he does is to turn down the vote for Black people. So when Black people see him and say, oh, it's not that bad after all. At least he's trying to get your vote. At least he's trying to do something that...
not go to Biden. Like, he loves the people that say, I'm not going to vote. He loves those people.
Ice Cube shouldn't depend. It's like T.I. sending a plan and T.I. working with Trump people. Like, those are the people you don't expect. Trump is using them for votes. He's just trying to downplay the Black vote towards the Democratic Party. That's why I'm like, nah, I can't support that. Ice Cube is like someone that sang the end. What did that song again?
He was part of the NWA.
Yeah. It's like Kanye West, someone that said George Bush is Black people. All of a sudden, they're supporting Trump. It's just like, nah. That's why.
Go ahead, Simi.
So the only thing I would clarify about that is that he's not saying, a big thing that should be clear is that he's not formally endorsing Trump.
True. Yeah.
But something that was said was like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't sort of say, I'm working with whoever's in power and then expect your hands not to feel a little bit dirty because bro is really using you as a puppet.
Thank you. That's the word.
It's hard because we have this whole cancel culture of we have to cancel, and I'm like, no,
no, you don't cancel
it.
it.
You guys have to be clear with the idea that yes, you think you're doing something that's right, that's great, but you also have to know if you what is that? Is it if you lay in a bed of snakes, don't expect not to get bitten?
Or something about fleas, lay down with dogs, don't expect.
Let's run this out. Trump held a whole summit kind of situation, went with the plan, whatever. Mm-hmm. If Trump loses the election, is he still going to try to help you? That's the question you need to ask. Is he going to try to help you even if he loses? And the answer is probably going to be no, because man really doesn't care. What he cares is about the publicity of it. Black people support Ice Cube because of his background, and there's no reason you shouldn't. Ice Cube's been pretty straightforward when it came with the Black Lives Matter movement, with everything coming up, right? Mm-hmm. But he's not doing it from a perspective of, I'm trying to give power to Black people. I'm trying to give money to Black people. Yeah. It's more so if I can get their vote because this person in their community that they look up to has now come to me. And I've provided it's greasing elbows. Yeah. I grease your elbow. You Ice Cube might not intentionally. He might not have thought that part through. Trump is helping us out right now, but in the end, look at the long term, pretty much. I've greased his elbows without really knowing that I greased his elbows because he could show up to any rally that has Black people and be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Ice Cube said blah blah blah," right. And I'm like, and you will he has no problem throwing names out there.
So can I ask a question? Because you kind of brought up a point that I think is how I see it, right? It's greasing elbows. It's I do a little bit for you, you do a little for me. Now to kind of defend Ice Cube a little bit, I don't think that he's doing it thinking that hey, now you get to use my name. Of course, like you said, it's inherent. But it's not I'm doing this and yes, you can use my name and do this. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's just do, for the purpose of this conversation, right? Let's say Ice Cube just has a plan. He just wants to help Black people. Mm-hmm. And the person that has some power that's willing to help him right now, not in 4 months, is this person. And it's not even to Trump, what Ice Cube said. I didn't even talk to Trump direct. You know what I mean? It's obviously it's not he's having a conversation with Trump. It's with people that, his campaign is associated. There you go. So do you think that there is a point? Is there a line where it's okay for him to work with him? Or is it just you can never work with him ever because of who he is? Or is it hey, if he's actually going to help you do what you're trying to do and let you do it the way you want, why not?
Can I say something real quick for you?
Sure, go ahead.
I think what happened with this situation, this scenario, was supposed to be vice versa. I think the Democratic Party was actually supposed to work with Ice Cube, while Ice Cube is supposed to wait for Trump to, either when he wins the election, to work with Ice Cube after he wins the election. I guarantee you, Trump is not going to work with Ice Cube even if he wins the election.
So you don't believe?
I don't believe he's going to do anything.
Yes, here. It's just
it's just for this time.
Which that's a speculation. So I'm gonna allow Dolapo. I agree. I'm understanding where you're coming from. Especially when we're talking about greasing elbows, I'm trying to work on an agenda that helps my people. So I'm going to do what I need to do to get it done now. The problem is, for Trump, a lot of things are all about the optics and what things look like, and not so much about follow through and action. And he's proven that to be the case time and time and time and time again. So for me, it's it would be one thing if dude was already in power and was going to take action now or within the next few years, and that he's the person in power, so I have no other option. Versus there's, at this point, a month until an election, and you don't know that he's actually going to win, so you're just putting your eggs in a basket that might not even be fruitful for you. So why even play around with somebody who you might not have a lasting chance with? Why not at least take a step back, realize the optics, and even if you're I've looked at everything and I still want to do it, don't now act like I don't understand why people are upset. At least recognize where this is coming from. I'm not saying people should cancel you, but you could acknowledge that, okay, I get it. I know where you guys are coming from, blah, blah, blah. But to me, from when I've seen him respond to this, I've seen it on TV, trying to respond, he seems just defensive and as though this is not even warranted. Questioning him on these actions aren't even warranted. And that's what I can't get down with.
Yeah, I think to that point, I haven't actually seen him. I've read some of the stuff he said. He's not saying anything crazy. I think it's just a matter of sometimes when you do something, like you said, you have to recognize what it might look like, and you have to be able to like speak to other people's perspective, like address what people are talking about. I think sometimes we all do it as people, where it's like, oh, like, but I would never do it for that reason. Like, I don't have to explain it, but it's like you still have to say it because people don't know you like that. They don't know you personally, and people are going to assume the worst in some situations. But back to your point about when he should work with him. Like, I'm just thinking about Kim Kardashian and how they worked and they free people.
That's what I'm saying. But like, I actually was, when you were talking, I was thinking of Kim too. But the difference is Kim knew this person was in power for 4 years. I have no other option, no other way to look. So let me just work with him and get what I need. Whereas to Habib and Simi's point, or Miriam's point, to a large extent, there were instances where it was clear that this is all about the optics, in my opinion. Like, he's not going to act on it now, even though you're talking about it now. He can't. He's too busy trying to win an election to work on it now. So what is it, like, having a platinum plan out there? It's as good as all the other plans he has, and all the other plans Biden has, and any other presidential candidate.
I think the reason
the plan
why
is a plan, not an action.
Also, the reason why Ice Cube kind of sound defensive is because he has that I pay my due mentality. Like, I've paid my dues. I can work whoever I want to work with now.
Like, you know me.
That's why. But people are kind of like,
people change.
We
can't, like, just because we knew you before, it doesn't mean we know you now.
Exactly.
I mean, to go back to, I think there's some action that has been taken. It's just not necessarily like, I can't remember the article. If I find it, I'll let you know. But I think Trump has taken an action, like some kind of summit that he's like planned or put together. So he's done something, but that's like it's really like a drop of water in what's being asked of. And so, like, if we're thinking realistically, are you going to get it done in time? Now, again, going back to, we shouldn't. Cancel culture is frustrating, to be honest. But we shouldn't go around canceling Ice Cube because of what he's done. But I do think that having a genuine conversation with him, like, instead of saying, oh, you're this, you're a sellout, you're blah, 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 blah. Of course he's going to come on TV and be defensive because he's like, what you talking about? Like you said, I paid my dues. I'm working for my people. I'm trying to get my people what they want. Like, attacking the guy is not going to help fix the situation. Having a genuine conversation with him, being like, yo, this is what it looks like, because everyone's perception is their reality. Yeah. So if I perceive that you're working with my enemy, I write you off. But if we decide and be like adults and have an adult conversation and say, hey, so tell me what you were thinking when you went about doing it this way, that's a more fruitful conversation. But at the end of the day, all this cancel culture, this cancel him, cancel that, like, it's all it's wasting time. Like, who is it helping?
I think Simi is making very fair, valid points, and I think we can really honestly wrap up the conversation here in the sense that we all agree that Ice Cube doesn't need to be canceled. His actions could be scrutinized, but from a like objective point of view, and fine if you have, you know, your feelings on it, cool. Just don't cancel the dude over it. It's not necessary. And we'll see what happens, and we can move on from there, right?
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, my last point is, to me, like, his biggest flaw in this whole thing that I can't really defend is really just the timing, right? Like you guys are saying. Exactly. It's just the timing. Like, if it was a year from now, if Trump won the election, like, I would have no problem with him legitimately working with him to do something. So I agree that the timing is not good. You know that it's more for optics than anything else. Like, I agree. To wrap up quick hits real quick, you know what we like to do? We like to do our tunes of the week. To just tell the people a song or something like that you're a fan of at the moment. Faye, you want to start? Show us how to do it.
Sure. The song I like right now is by St. John. It's a song he just released called Gorgeous. I think it came out maybe a week ago. I like it. I like him as an artist, so he's doing big things.
St. John, Gorgeous. My
turn, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, the song that I'm listening to now is not on anybody's playlist because the dude's like in Denmark. His name is. Why are you rolling your eyes?
Like some dude in Denmark. Sorry.
He used to be like one of my favorite bands.
We'll
called Outlandish.
Okay, I know Outlandish. Come on, Outlandish sang Aisha, right? Aisha. Oh, that's my song.
Their main singer SMB went in his own like what is it? Like when you go single.
He went solo.
There you go. And so one of his songs is "Man with a Plan." Like that thing has
Man with a Plan
on rotate in my head, and the visual for the video is just amazing.
What's his name?
Isamb. ISAMB.
ISAMB.
Nice, going international.
Nice. I know, right? All the way in that. So they're from Denmark?
Yeah, they're from Denmark, but like their ethnic backgrounds are very different. Like when they were a group, he's Moroccan Lenny's Honduran and Wakas is Pakistani. And so
Wow.
It's like a real international.
Diverse.
Really? Okay. Habibi, you have a song for us?
Just one guy, Oxlade, Hold On. That's my guy, man. That guy
Oxlade, Hold
On. Now you gotta listen to that joint.
Okay. Well, my song, last week we talked about Olamide had album. I didn't even know.
Oh, you did?
I was ashamed of myself.
Yeah, I did.
So I went to go listen to it. My favorite song on there at the moment might change. But no, not even that song. I like the song Loadin' featuring Bad Boy Tim's. Olamide Loadin'.